You know what? Screw that. Welcome to the show, guys.
What happened to the intro?
Yeah,
What
what
happened
was that?
to the intro? Well, anyway, let's just forget about that. So, welcome to the
Powered
Timeless
by
Game,
Microsoft.
powered by Microsoft, guys. So, yep, it's a Timeless Gamer show where our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain timeless. And I don't know what the hell happened there. Okay, so hey, we're still live. Hey, it's a live show, guys. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our old episodes, you can still check them out by going to the Timeless Gamers Show YouTube channel or by just going to the website. It's timelessgamers.com. That's timelessgamers.com. And you can still listen to us talk. The audio versions of our old shows are still available by going to all of the major uh, podcast streaming platforms out there where you usually get your podcast. Just search it, Timeless Gamer Show. We are everywhere. Simple Google search. We're here, we're there, you know. And for all of your suggestions, comments, insults, whatever message that you have, just send them by going to the timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. That's timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. And of course, we're also going to take this opportunity to give a shout out to our affiliates. If you want to educate yourself with the history and the video games by genre or by console systems, go to BitMap Books. Check out the BitMap Books using our link down there at the video description box below. Or you can also check out Streamyard if you're planning to have your own podcast, webinars, and online meetings. Check out Streamyard. That's what's powering our show right now. So go to our description box down there for a 14 free-day trial. 14, 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks. And for all of your trading cards, toys, figures, and other anime-related stuff, go to Shuffle Emporium right there. Go to their website, shuffleemporium.com, or if you want to have a little bit more updated inventory, go to their Facebook page, Shuffle Emporium. Shuffle, guys, Shuffle Emporium. Previously on the Timeless Gamer Show, we did a quick rundown of all of the game trailers, game announcements, and all the game showcases that just happened for the first half of June 2025. Whether it's Sony, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's Xbox, whether it's PC. Lots of stuff going on, guys. Lots of stuff. So if you want to have a quick rundown, a quick review, you know where to go. You know what to do. For this episode, speaking of Xbox, guys, in celebration of the new Xbox ROG Ally, we are going to talk about, hey, Xbox, the story of Xbox. So we're doing the documentary series approved by Microsoft. It's called Power On, the story of Xbox, available in YouTube that you can watch. There are a total of 6 chapters here, guys, explaining the origins of the console all the way to its current generation, which is the Xbox Series X. All right, and this topic's been brought to us by Sir Jose, right there, and introducing the panel for tonight. We got Sir Jose.
Hey guys, here to talk about the Xbox documentary series, Power On, the story of Xbox. It's a long one, it's about 4 hours, but we're here to get through it, talk some stuff, maybe share some personal stuff related to the documentary. And also, in case you guys forgot last week, Xbox, the new home for JRPGs.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you for that, Sir. And as you can see, representing Super Nintendo with his shirt.
Hey, you're right.
Right?
Wrong shirt.
Totally not intended for the show, for the topic that we have right now. And of course, Sir JD, I am.
Yes, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Timeless Gamer Show. And as what Sir Jose mentioned, we'll be talking about Power On, the story of Xbox. And is Xbox? How is Xbox? When is Xbox? And where is Xbox? We'll be talking about that, the developers, the people, and the events leading to the release of the original Direct X box. And in aligning in regard to this, I'm changing my background. I made this while watching the documentary a few days ago. So this is the uh, Playbox, not Playboy. It's it ends with an X, so it's a Playbox. So
All right.
yeah,
Very nice.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. I think he's the only one who's wearing green at the moment.
yes, I'm a green
Really
team
like
now.
yourself.
Yes.
I'm with green team.
Green team, right?
Go Lasal. Wrong. Ground green. Okay.
Representing the St. Patrick's Day uniform right there. Sir Joel.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Joel Baklit of Banyagan Native page, especially and exclusively here on Timeless Gamers Show. Last week we talked about the different games that are coming on different platforms. This episode we are going to be looking back on what Xbox is all about, how it started, why it started, the people behind it, and the special things that make Xbox what it really is. And we hope you enjoy the show. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And of course, who is that Pokemon right there? For the first time ever, live on the show, but he's been with us in the chat, running his mouth for the last few topics or so. We got Sir Richard Ryan Ortega.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. Good evening, guys. Richard Ryan Ortega, or for the Chance community, Gomat at Sangkwak Siang, or Richard Chang. I'm also, as indicated by the screen, I work as a freelance consultant. I also do research on different topics, especially technology. And also, I'm an avid gamer, and I'm also a person with disability. So I'm using all of those traits to be on this show. So better pack some drink, something warm and toasty. It's going to get interesting. And don't worry, we'll do it as best we can to make it lively. Back to you guys.
We'll try to make it lively. There you go. Thank you for that, Sir Richard. And of course, it's me. And just to show my respect to the topic, I'm wearing my special blue. Blue shirt. Someone has to represent the true home of the RPGs right here. Okay.
Yeah. There's something
All right.
as we immigrants would say, we might have an origin and true home, but we have new places where we can be, and we enjoy ourselves where we are. So yeah, Xbox, the new home of JRPGs. There you go.
The new home of JRPGs. The new home of JRPGs, guys. That's all there is.
What do you call that? Expat. The expat.
Yeah, exactly. Our expats.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So we're gonna skip the gaming news, and we're gonna skip the show and tell, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the topic that we're for tonight. Power on the story of Xbox, like Sir Jose mentioned, it's 4 hours long in total. There were 6 chapters, really, and the way they structured it is kind of like a Netflix series. Roughly, each chapter is like what 30-40 minutes average. So sum that all up, it's 4 hours, and it's so damn long. Oh my God, why so damn long?
Because there was
That's
so
what she
much
said.
to talk about.
So damn long. But hey, because personally, it's the story of Xbox. I'm not even quoting the title here. It's quite interesting, really. But let's talk more about that during the review. Okay, so we got Sir Jose here. Is going to lead us in regarding with the topic. But before all that, let's a little bit of introduction, maybe. So let's start with Sir JDM. Sir JDM, where were you when the first Xbox came in? This is what 2001. Where were you in your life at the time?
Uh, let's see. I'm third year high school, and Xbox came out, but I didn't know about it until 2003 when I went to Manila and studied college. That's the first time I saw the Xbox gaming console, and man, it's so huge. Um, even
It
even
is huge,
bigger, even even bigger than the original PS2, and
right?
also the controller. The Duke controller,
The
which
Duke
is
controller.
it. But I love the grip though, because it's big. You can grip it like firmly, unlike the Dual Shock 2 controller. So I was really amazed that it was developed by Microsoft, which is I didn't expect that it would come from such a company that's only for known to use personal computers. So it's really like I was really mind blown when I saw that big ass
Mm.
box.
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM. How about you, Sir Jose? Where were you at when the first Xbox, the OG Xbox, dropped?
I think I was in my second year of high school, so I was a sophomore. I remember being super excited for it. I remember reading about it and seeing videos like on TV about it. And I remember I came home one day, and I came home from being at my cousin's house for the weekend, and it just being in my brother's room. Like I think he was like at work or something, and I was like flipping the fuck out. Like, like you would think I was that Nintendo 64 kid, because I was like, I couldn't believe that this thing was sitting in the house. Um, of course, I couldn't play it until he got back. But the Duke controller, man, that's like one of my favorite controllers. It was like the perfect size because I have big hands, so it was like the perfect size. I loved it. Xbox, amazing. I was super excited because it was coming from like an American company. But yeah, I don't know what else I could say because it was an amazing time, and I can't believe that we had one in our house.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jose. And how about Sir Joel? Where were you at when the first OG Xbox dropped?
Let's see. When the original Xbox came out, I believe I was working in what was the equivalent of the IRS back in the Philippines, the Bureau of Internal
VR.
Revenue. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was already working during that time. The Philippines back then was solidly PlayStation territory. We're talking like it was from the beginning. People were in Nintendo, but the moment that the PlayStation 1 came out, everybody jumped onto it. And then eventually the PlayStation 2 came out. But rumblings came from the West where Microsoft was developing a console. And lo and behold, they came out with what they call the Xbox. I didn't personally experience it until 2002 or 2003, if I remember correctly, when my ex girlfriend, not my wife, bought me a unit and brought it over from the US to give it to me and for me to be able to experience it because of the fact that I was able to try it out a little bit at the I think Mega Mall or Shangri-La Mall, one or the other in Mandaluyong. I got to rent out a machine, got to play it during that time, and I told her that it seemed like a really good machine, and I got to play this really popular game back then called Halo on it, and it was quite an interesting experience coming from somebody who used to play Rainbow Six Rogue Spear on the PC, playing a first-person shooter with a ginormous controller and an Xbox machine in front of you. It was quite an experience, and I told her about it, and she got excited about it. She got one for me, and I've been and Xbox has always had a special place in my heart ever since. So yeah, I might be platform agnostic. I mean, I like gaming anywhere I can. I like gaming on PlayStation. I like gaming on Nintendo. I like gaming on handhelds. I like heck, slap a game on a smart refrigerator. I'll play it. But yeah, Xbox has a particularly special place in my heart because of that one thing. When it got introduced, I enjoyed how it looked, how it sounded, how it felt in the hand, and the missus gave me one eventually when she came over, and we met up. So yeah,
Thank you for that. Sir
yeah,
Joe.
I completely agree with you on that one, Jose. I'm a gamer swinger. Yeah,
He really is too. How
I,
about you, Sir Richard? Sir Richard, Sir Ryan, Richard. Where were you at when OG Xbox dropped?
Yes. Interestingly, I was in second year college in Adams University. I'm taking computer science and pretty much try to find my field or my calling in case once I graduate. It's still like a start. This pretty much technically the start of my independent life because I'm going a different field compared to my dad. My late dad, he's a architect, so he pushed me to go to computer science, despite the fact that I plan to pursue industrial engineering. So pretty much, it's like a start for some. It's the start of a gaming industry, but for some, it's also the end of their line. Depends who you ask. That's
All
all.
right.
Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Richard. All righty. So, Sir Jose, we'll lead us now to the show proper. Sir Jose, what you got for us? Xbox to power on.
Well, first, my question is, where was Sir Joe during this Xbox?
During where I was at? No, this was what 2001.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I was
2001 when it came out.
2001, 2001. 2001. What the hell was doing? First year college, I believe. First year college, and just like Sir Joel mentioned, this was the time when Philippines was a different time back then, a different place back then. Lots of PlayStation 2s. PlayStation pretty much had like what the 90% of the gaming market in the Philippines, and then some would play on some Nintendo, and then I didn't really notice that there's another gaming system out there it's because it was either this was 2001, so you got either PlayStation, you got Nintendo, or Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, and not a lot of people were playing Dreamcast either. So I know this because every once in a while, Sir Joel knows this. Whenever I go to Quiapo, Hidalgo Street, where we usually get our unauthorized software for the PlayStation and the Dreamcast. I saw I saw another game. I saw a bunch of games there that says Xbox. I'm like, what the hell is that? So the sellers would say, "Oh, and that's a new gaming system," and I'm like, "What?" And then I saw one of the gaming magazines that we have back then in our national bookstore, and yeah, it just says there Xbox. Now I didn't at this time I was just so fixated on my college studies that I hardly touch any gaming consoles at the time. So uh, so it was only that it was only at that time when I got curious that there was another gaming system out there. That's why I checked one of those gaming magazines, and yeah, it says right there Xbox. I remember I remember that I'm not sure which gaming magazine was there. So it was Mario, and then it was Crash Bandicoot, and then it was Sonic, and then there's another one. This was a game cover of that magazine. Uh, you guys might have seen that already. And then there's Xbox right there at the very at the last column box, saying it's a new there's a new challenger coming in, basically what they were saying. And yeah, so I only confirmed it right then and there that Xbox is going to be a thing. Back to you, sir.
All right. So let's see. I had some pre-review questions, but we kind of already answered those. What was your knowledge of the Xbox, and did you own any? But we'll just jump straight into the thing. So, for the first chapter of this long ass documentary, the first
Long ass.
chapter, yeah, titled "The Renegades." It covers the process for developing the Xbox, getting the ideas together, getting into meetings, going up against the CE guys who wanted to do the same, and meeting with Bill Gates. I have a few questions, but you guys can bring up anything from that chapter that you guys want to talk about. But my first question for everyone is: could any other company have made a console at that point in time besides Microsoft?
I believe, yeah. I mean, there have been in any kind of era, there have been a lot of companies that are always trying to produce consoles for themselves. Philips tried to come up with one.
CDI.
Xbox, came up with one way back in the day, but during that particular time, possibly maybe one of the bigger companies. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney really wanted to get into it, they could have back then. If they wanted
Yeah,
to
Disney.
resources, yeah, they might have. But honestly, they probably saw that it wasn't their bailiwick. It wasn't their forte. And in Microsoft's case, they already had a foot in the door. They were already a computer based company. They had the operating system. They had the office software. They were already installed in a lot of homes and a lot of offices. They figured, heck, why not dip our toe in this? And yeah, I would say Microsoft did the logical choice of looking at the future and stepping into it. But I can't imagine there being any other company as big as Microsoft that might want to consider it. Like I said, Disney is about the only other company that I might have thought of that might want to for the entertainment aspect. But off the top of my head, no. Mhm.
I would say maybe some of the Japanese tech companies like
Mm.
Toshiba. But then again, they might have thought about it, but you already got Nintendo and Sega, so what's the point of doing that? And of course, Sony. Um, NEC already tried with their Turbo Graphics slash PC engine, which failed, unfortunately. I would say maybe Apple. I mean,
Because
they're already doing the PC, uh, uh, the PC side of things. Would have been a game changer if they shifted to consoles too. How about you, Sir JDM?
same with Sergio. Mostly it's going to be Japanese companies. I was thinking of Bandai since they're doing toys and stuff, which is they haven't developed a gaming system, but they were back then during that time, but they were able to develop what do you call this, Wonders One, was it the
Mhm.
Wonders One, that
Yes.
16 bit. They did it, but it didn't really like get a click with the masses because for I guess because of the people there, they already have the PlayStation 2, the Xbox. So why go back to the 16-bit era when you already have your DS, your Game Boy Advance. So
How about you, Sir Richard?
Well, for me, there's a lot to think about because for me, Xbox is like put Microsoft attempt to not only to enter the gaming industry, but also finding a way how to integrate their software with the gaming community. So, long story short, DirectX, which is their new product. So why not bring it also to the console, which is a challenge by itself.
All right. Sir Jose, back to you.
All right. As far as me, there was another company that could have done it. It would have had to have been another one of the giant PC players. Who was big back then? IBM.
Oh yeah, IBM.
Uh,
It's either Apple, Mac, IBM. Yeah.
I'm like, who else was Dell?
Dell would have.
HP.
Yeah, Dell, HP.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think any one of them, but Microsoft had the.
Sierra could have done it.
There you go.
Sierra.
If I may interject, I think we forgot about Nokia, right? They made a lot of mobile games.
2001, but they did Engage
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Engage.
They did Engage, which failed miserably.
Yeah, just like the Wonders one, because the graphics and the quality of the games that they're developing for the Engage and those other mobile games from the mid 2000s are already outdated.
You guys talking about this one?
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, the Nokia
Oh
Engage
wow!
has also another special place in my heart because of the fact that Nokia really did a good effort in trying to break into the mobile gaming market. And I can say that this was a nice little precursor to how we have these things nowadays in our pockets. With all these games and basically everything at our fingertips. So yeah, I would say, yeah. Some people might bag on the Nokia Engage, but I love it. I love it for its being a part of history.
All right.
Yes,
Sir
and
Jose,
it may.
back to you.
Oh,
All
sorry.
right. Next question. Okay, so like in the review, there's a big part where they're talking about the announcement of the PS2, and Sony keeps saying that the PlayStation 2 is going to replace the PC. They keep repeating it and repeating it. Pretty much egging on Microsoft, saying that, that they were going to replace the PC, and they're the PC guys. Had Sony not gone this route and the way of marketing their PS2, do you think that Microsoft would have even have bothered joining the console race?
No. Honest to goodness answer, no. Microsoft would not have even bothered because of the fact that Microsoft, as a technology and computer company, does not respond to minor threats to its existence, but threaten its computer standing, computer his its main line of business, the computer side of it. Microsoft will not react favorably to that, and that's the driving force as to why they went and started development with the Xbox. Honestly, Jose, that's a really good question, and they never would have jumped into the gaming arena if Sony had not insinuated that they were targeting the home office and home computer uh, market in a subtle way. That's my opinion on it. They never would have even tried. They would have just looked at it, laughed at it, and they just moved on because their cash cow is Microsoft Office. Every single office in the West and most in the East as well require a at least one license of Microsoft Office, and that's their cash cow. It doesn't matter how boring it is. It doesn't matter how unadventurous it is, the moment that you threaten that with any sort of insinuation that you are planning on taking over, Microsoft's going to take action. And that was probably the impetus for how they started making the Xbox.
All right. How about Sir JDM? Same question.
Mm, looking at right now, I don't think PlayStation made even replaced the PC. And if you look at the like the if you look at the design of the PlayStation 3, even back then, it does have the OS, like the operating system, which is on Linux, but you can't really do they can't really do multitasking up until PS4, I guess. Then it that statement that they're going to replace the PC already became irrelevant because Xbox has been doing it since the original OG. So maybe they just uh somewhere along the way they just like they just dropped that statement of theirs from their PS2 era and just moved on until they like somehow reversed engineered the technology. Um, I don't think they really um replace the PC, or they will even be replace the PC.
How about Sir Richard? Same question.
Well, for me, uh, that time PlayStation is really pushing its luck against Microsoft. In reality, actually, in a way, Sony was feeling threatened by Microsoft because a part of it is like uh, we're facing we're facing a company that develop our tools, the same tools that we use to develop our games, and right now we're going to be challenging it. And the other side is they're taking a gamble just for be for like that time they released the PlayStation 1, so it was so successful that they felt that they can do almost anything. That's that's how I felt on this side of Sony. But in terms of Microsoft, it's actually the biggest move they have made. Yes, it may not be perfect, but at the end, became like it became like something they're proud of. Actually, to give you a little tidbit also, if there's one company that will thank for also help developing the Xbox, take a wild guess who it is.
Sega.
Touche. Sega Katana system. The same operating system they're using for the for developing the game is also the same operating system, despite be modified on the Xbox. Is Windows 2000 with some item being taken out. So in a way, it's much lighter. So you can thank Sega for that one. And at the same time, later I'll also share another tidbit because it's also thanks to Microsoft that Sega still have has its arcade division. Even though they're no longer the console, they're still earning money, and they have to take Microsoft for that one. I'll explain later.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Richard. Now, uh, when I watched that part of the documentary, let's remember, guys. This was like what during what the early 2000s. Well, uh, late 90s, really. And we don't have any YouTube back then. So it's either you see the televised broadcast of the PS2 reveal, or you're just reading it through the magazines or the or or gaming or tech news at the time. And when they said this is gonna replace PC, and I'm like, how? Uh, to my knowledge, they didn't really show that much of a software capability of the PS2. What what I remembered was they're just showing the specs in comparison to a PC. But when you say this gonna take replace the PC, in what regard? Like you don't see the PS2 doing Minesweeper or
Mhm.
doing spreadsheets or doing PowerPoints. No, you know what I'm saying. I mean, we got Windows 95, Windows 98. So if you're telling me that the PlayStation 2 will do all of that your PC Windows is doing, then shit, why not, right? But as far as I can tell, the Sony people didn't do any of that. They just showed the box of the PS2. The product the first revealed PS2 was like what? It was like a brick, really. I mean, uh, if you think the PS2 fat is big, guys, uh, the one that they showed it was like what, a couple more inches thicker than that one. So it kind of looked like a CPU, really, this big, and they didn't really show that much of software capabilities that might suggest that all of those functions of the PC can be done using the PS2. And even then, like for those people who got the PS2, the early editions, it will come up with a startup disk. And to be told, I don't even think that you're going to be using that starter disk to do anything else. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe enable the DVD support playback, sure, but you know what I'm saying. Like for all of the things that we've been using, PC, Windows 95, Windows 98, and you're saying, okay, the PS2 is going to replace all of that, so you don't have to get a PC. All you have to do is just get a PS2. It can do all of those PC, and it can also play DVD, right? So yeah, the messaging was important here. Kudos to Sony, in a way, because I mean it's a good and a bad thing. If you're gonna look about it, if you think about it, because um, marketing wise, you're making a broader audience saying, "Oh, our system here can also take care of the other stuff that another device might be doing." So it saves you the money, saves you the space in your home, and at the same time, you're gonna invoke the wrath of Bill Gates. So back to you, Sir Jose.
Mhm. So actually, like speaking on the PS2 and the PC, there was a Linux kit released for the PlayStation 2. It was, I think, about 2 years after it came out. So you could buy it and you could install Linux on your PS2, much the same way you could on your PS3. I don't really know much about that. That would be Sir Joel's uh, operating system of choice. But let's see. Yeah, like honestly, I don't think Microsoft would have even came up with any idea of joining the console space. But I do thank Sony for using that phrasing, because without them saying that and it getting back to Microsoft, we wouldn't have what is now known the new home for JRPGs, that is the Xbox. So thank you, Sony.
Yes, absolutely.
They really, they really needed that push.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird, or uh, some sort of a serendipity slash deja vu, when because when we think about it, fondly when Nintendo said, "Oh, we're not doing a CD-based system for the Nintendo for the next generation of the Nintendo system. We're gonna ally with Philips instead." We we got Sony coming up with the PlayStation, right? And now Sony saying, "Oh, we're gonna be replacing PC." And then in comes Microsoft coming up with Xbox. So I don't know. I don't. It's like gaming history, like history repeating all over again. Because of I don't know. Corporate greed, guys. Corporate greed. That's what I'll say.
To quote an old 80s movie, greed is good. What can I say?
Greed is good.
Great is good.
So there's a part in this first chapter where the direct Xbox guys find out that there's another group of guys that's trying to get into the console space as well. Same guys who were in the space when they made the 3DO. And they basically had to have like a showdown of sorts with Bill Gates, to kind of see whose idea they're going to go with. So you got the new guys who don't really know anything about the console space, but they're gamers, so they know games. And then you got the guys who actually made a console before, but it wasn't that great. There's a part in it where the guys pull out like a demo, and they show Bill Gates like, "Hey, like, look, this is what it's gonna do," and he's like amazed at how fast it starts up, and he's like, "Why can't Windows do that?" And there's a part where the CE guys are like, "Oh, like basically like that's not fair. Like no one told us we could bring a demo." And Bill Gates was basically like, "Well, no one told them either," and Here they are. What do you guys think about that? Like, was that?
Honestly, my personal opinion, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, one of the basic principles of the art of warfare, as outlined by Sun Tzu, is war is nothing but subterfuge. Any kind of war is supposed to be won not by force but by surprise. We're talking like when the DirectX guys came up against the Windows CE guys. The Windows CE guys had already helped design the Dreamcast, the Sega Dreamcast, and yeah, they had the experience, they had the know-how. But like Jose said, the DirectX guys were the gamers, and they know exactly what excites people. And when they brought out to Bill Gates the little box, the cobbled together box of CPU parts that actually ran a demo of what, ironically, is a was it Tomb Raider for the PlayStation 1, Jose? If I
Yep.
remember correctly? That was hilarious. When they came out with a box that emulated a Tomb Raider for the PlayStation 1 and booted up in, I think, 4 seconds or something like that.
5 seconds at best.
Yeah, 5 or 4 seconds, one or the other. Bill Gates, it has been described as the kind of person who sees a technology and he absorbs it. Like the moment that he sees it, his brain instantly processes it like a machine. He was enthralled by the idea of how the heck is this little thing producing that and in such a short amount of time. So that really won things over. And in the basic principle of the art of war, that surprise won the war. And honestly, the DirectX guys really brought it. If you're not willing to think around corners, if you're not willing to think with surprise in mind, if you're not willing to get one step in front of your opponent or your enemy, you're not gonna win a war. And the guys brought it. The DirectX guys brought the war. They brought the surprise. They won the war. That was a brilliant piece. And honestly, it showcases one of the things why I love this documentary. I slept on this documentary for a little bit. I only got to see it recently upon Jose's recommendation. And this documentary is great because it doesn't just highlight the dry nitty-gritties of the development of the console. It also highlights the drama of how it happened. Thanks so much for that, Jose. Back to you.
All right, Sir JDM, what do you think about? Sir
Ryan,
go ahead.
let's hear from
Yes.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes, also actually, interestingly, the CE team was fully aware of how to develop a game, but that time they have one another challenge for the CE team. Remember, compact edition means you're limited only on what you have. So it's like a ARM chip. It does work, but they didn't push it through. Unlike the DirectX team, guess what they have for their setup?
Hmm.
Take one guess.
What did the DirectX team have? The DirectX team just had the software, right?
Hardware also, and
Hardware also.
this is surprise you. Here's the specs for the processor. It's either a Celeron or a Pentium 3 333 megahertz computer is a CPU used in PC also. The GPU is actually NVIDIA GeForce 3, which is actually modified. And that time, they're only running on 64 megs of RAM. It's a DDR200. So compare CE to DirectX. DirectX is just like uh, hit us as hard as you can. You won't tickle us. CE is like ARM. They're designed to be low power and only small. And with fact, the menu screen in the Dreamcast is technically under Windows CE. It's
Yeah.
also a DirectX implementation, but only for lower power PC. Unlike for the Microsoft, for the DirectX guys, they have everything from the PC to the knowledge of DirectX, like hardcore knowledge. So naturally, the team from DirectX will win 10-1, no matter what will happen. That's for me.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Richard. Say you them.
Yeah. The DirectX guys, those rebels, go rebels, they did their assignment and they really had the technical know-hows of how to build a game console. Not but not a game console, but they have the software that can run those games that you can play on the PC because of the DirectX, the SDK, the uh, development kit,
Software
and
development kit, yes.
uh, by the way, a little tidbit as well. DirectX is a compilation of different APIs or interfaces, which is the Direct 3D, which controls the 3D rendering. Direct Draw is for the 2D, for vector graphics, and Direct Sound, I guess, that is for the audio. So there are other APIs that they're using, but um, they're also utilizing the power of the newly introduced the GPU, those
Yeah.
video graphics, as because they don't know, back then it was only software rendering, but now we have um, you have the CPU. Now you have back then you were using the CPU power to render the graphics, most especially 2D. But now you have a dedicated video for 3D, so it's much more. You will be using less CPU for rendering those graphics with a dedicated graphics processor. And also, another tidbit, DirectX was called Project Manhattan because um, they called it so because they were trying to displace the Japanese console developers. Um, I think that's their goal. They're trying to displace Japanese developers from creating consoles and using PC hardware. and that's where DirectX was born. And although the DirectX that were developing games for the PC are not the same team that were developing the Xbox, but they maybe somehow they know each other or they are from a different team. And I also agree with Sir Ryan. Those embedded systems like your Palm OS, those handheld devices that you have, those portable laptops, those are the embedded systems, and it only has like a Celeron. Those are the like CPUs that were low cost and low power, so it won't really run efficiently if you run games into it. And the reason why the Xbox boots faster with DirectX, because you take away the bloatware from the Windows operating system. You take away the kernels that is needed to run those um, files or other things that um, automatically runs when you open your PCs. That's why you take all of that and just the dedicated graphics from the DirectX, and there you go.
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM. Back to you, Sir Jose.
Okay, going on to the next chapter, titled "The Valentine's Day Massacre," dealt with them having to strip down Windows so that it would work on the Xbox. Bill Gates being fucking pissed.
As always.
The prototype Xbox, and then the first demos at GDC. Let's see. The first question for you guys. Okay, in this part of the documentary, it talks about how Microsoft was like, let's try to acquire a Japanese game maker or console maker as well. So my question is for you guys: do you think, had Microsoft acquired Nintendo, what do you think the console and game space would look like today?
Oh, easy. Microsoft would have won early on. Think about it. They wouldn't have had to develop the hardware. They wouldn't have had to develop the games. They would have had a library right off the bat of stuff that they can just slap onto any PC, and Sony wouldn't even be a blip on the radar right now. We're talking like, imagine all of the games on PC, on the games on all the games on Xbox, all the games on Nintendo, any platform, adapted for one box that you can play at your home at any time. Sony wouldn't have stood a chance, honestly. And Microsoft would have been this behemoth of a gaming company that nobody would be able to topple at all. And in a way, it's a good thing that it never happened, because we have an amazing selection of games that we can play now from every platform: PC, Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, and mobile. All of that would not have come about if Microsoft had become the dominant force. Because, well, let's be fair. Microsoft has never been known for being kind to its competitors. Microsoft has always been the big bad when it comes to the game sharing or intellectual property space. So it was a brilliant tactical move to try to acquire Nintendo, but in a way, it was a good thing it didn't happen. Honestly, I would say the game landscape right now would have been very different if Microsoft had acquired Nintendo back then.
Sir Ryan, what if?
For me, it's going to be well, it would be a fatal mistake, because try to take this analysis. You have Nintendo, who has been in the gaming industry much longer than anyone. The Hanafuku card. So it's like they know what game is all about. Then a newcomer like Microsoft or microcomputer software will take them over. It will be a worst case scenario. Ideally, you have should have at least one elder on available at all times, so that young one like Microsoft, say, and Sega and other gaming company will have someone to look up to. So Microsoft will acquire. Microsoft does its best to acquire Nintendo, most likely as a partnership, but to take over Nintendo per se, you're just destroying one of the pillar of gaming next to Sega. So obviously you notice that no one has acquired Sega yet, right?
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Yes, no one will. But guess what they have acquired so far? They have acquired Relic Entertainments, so the Dawn of War series, Company of Heroes, and it's already with them. They also acquire Atlus, which is the Devil Saga, the Persona
Mm.
series. But here's the best part. Sega acquiring Atlus, they didn't took over Atlus per se. Instead, succeeding game like Persona 5 and a Persona 3 remake, Persona 4 Golden, already had the tagline of Sega Atlus. So their benefit, Atlus benefit is they can stand on their own as Atlus, or if they need help, they can stand as Sega Atlus. That is how acquiring company should be. Not totally uh, dominating them, but working with them. So that remind me, there was one instance that different gaming company went together. Take a guess what that is.
What is it?
I'll give you a hint. This is the time that Nintendo, Sega, and Namco develop a system.
Hmm. I don't know that. What is that?
Curious.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Mario Kart.
Oh,
Oh,
You want
right.
to answer? Anybody want to answer?
I don't think anybody knows the answer.
Okay,
But yeah,
the Sega Triforce. It's a joint project between Nintendo, which is the IP for the Mario Kart, Sega, because of their experience with the arcade, and Namco, which is also experience with the arcade. So put them together, you have the Sega Triforce system, which is coincidentally pointing back at Nintendo, a heavily modified Nintendo GameCube. So that's why the emulator for the Nintendo GameCube, which is Dolphin, it can also emulate the Sega Triforce system perfectly.
Ah, that's
mm,
that's one thing I like about this show. You learn something new every day. Thanks so much for that, Ryan. The Sega Triforce. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that one. Nice, nice, nice.
What? That's the first time I heard about that damn
yeah,
thing.
me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
yeah,
we learn something new every day, and that's
yeah.
the nice thing
Oh.
about it. It's one of
There's
our
still
driving
more.
forces here in the
There's
timeless
still
game.
more.
Nice.
Once you guys are interested to know more, I'll tell you. For now, I'll just give you a heads up.
Mm.
The the uh, X- the Xbox, Microsoft Xbox, also contribute to the Sega Chihiro system.
Oh, okay. Now that's
Yes.
the one that you're mentioning. These consoles that the systems that you're mentioning, Ryan. Did these ever come into fruition? Was there anything that ever came out on a hardware side for
I
these?
think Japan only.
Yes,
Ah,
yes, it does. In fact,
hmm.
I'll throw you a couple of games. Tell me if it rings a bell.
Sure.
Ready? House of the Dead 2,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sega Naomi, which is the modified version of Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
The arcade.
Yes. So that's one. How about this one? Uh, do you guys know House of the Dead 3?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just played that the other week
Mm.
at the arcades here in New Jersey. Yeah.
That one is actually running on a modified Microsoft Xbox. They
Really?
just double the memory. So
Mhm.
that's why. So that's there's is something interesting. Modifying between a PC and a Sega Chihiro is so easy.
Mm.
Perfect example. Anyone know the game Outrun 2 Coast to Coast?
Oh yeah,
Mm.
I played that all the time. It's a really, really good
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Guess how
Only the
long?
PSP.
OG
Yes.
Xbox.
Take a guess how long it took them to modify from the arcade to the PC.
Well,
Arcade to the console.
it seems pretty close. I don't think there's really much of a difference between the arcade experience and the console. I imagine maybe about 6 months.
Less than 24 hours, I guess.
According to them, if everything goes well, 1 week.
1 week.
1
week.
Dang.
Actually, according to them, Sega Chihiro has double the RAM of the Microsoft Xbox,
Mm.
128 megabytes. So for them to squeeze into an Xbox, they can do it. They just have to compress some of the artifact.
Okay. And you basically don't notice the compressions anyway because the game is moving so fast.
Mm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, it's so easy to port that. Actually, a Sega ever since working with ever since Sega worked with Microsoft,
Mm.
they have been developing system until to this day.
Nice. Okay.
So think of any game that you can think of the arcade.
Mm.
As long as published by Sega, Microsoft is behind it.
All right, and this Dan Faulkner and Viraj Katwalia might find this piece of information interesting. There are our panelists who are the Sega specialists. Thanks for that information, Ryan.
No problem. Back to everyone.
Getting Nintendo on board would have been strategically a bold move coming from Microsoft. Like everybody else mentioned here, they know jack shit about making hardware. They only know how to do software, of course. If ever they're gonna get Nintendo's R&D, which is basically the people who do hardware and do their first party games. And then number three, the first party games, of course, a huge library of or gaming portfolio. And then number four, Shigeru Miyamoto. You're gonna acquire the guy, right? Basically, what they
Super
they
Mario.
term the Steven Spielberg of gaming, Shigeru Miyamoto. And who am I to doubt that, right?
I thought it
Um,
was Howard Scott Warshaw.
It's how it's got more so. Right? I would say, but of course, knowing Nintendo, I mean, if money was an issue, Nintendo would have been bought a long time ago. But no,
Mhm.
right? I mean, if money was the issue here, they would have done that. But no. Uh, so the Microsoft guys flew to Japan, wanted to have the meeting. They said, if you guys are interested in this venture we're doing, and Nintendo of Japan basically saying, uh, uh, let we put this in a matter of speaking that you Americans can understand. We are not for sale. F off.
We have an impression of Chosen from Cobra Kai.
It's the K, really. All right. Ooh my. Okay. Yeah, I mean, understandably so. Microsoft basically saying, I guess we have to do it ourselves. So, uh, good luck with that. Seriously, back to you.
I mean, it was a swing and a miss, but it was worth a try. You
It
have
was
to
worth
hand
a shot.
Mm.
Microsoft
It
for
was worth a
trying,
shot.
trying.
Yeah, I think had they really done it and acquired Nintendo, I think that it would have been a bad idea. Back then, I feel like they would have clashed too much, and I feel like Microsoft would Americanize Nintendo too much. I think even though at first they would probably be like, yeah, they've built consoles, they have games, they make games. I think after a while, Microsoft would get too cocky and be like, well, we know what Americans want as far as computer and games, and I think the games would be a lot more Americanized than what Nintendo would be doing, and I think it would have been just a bad idea. And I think maybe even though they had Nintendo, I think that we could have been looking at a future where it was only Sony in the game space because of that. That's just what I think.
Can you imagine Nintendo green?
Right?
Nintendo red, Nintendo in a
Or
green font.
or maybe even worse, Microsoft will become like the EA of the gaming consoles. They will just
Aren't they
drop
already?
Nintendo,
Yeah.
like
Well,
Aren't they already?
what they did to
Um,
uh, what
now
they call
the
the
EA,
Origins,
the
no,
those
they
EA
are
right
games.
now,
already.
Right?
yeah, the EA right now of gaming is Ubisoft. Let's face facts. Yeah, Ubisoft is the EA of gaming right
Yeah.
now. And a little bit of a showcase for those of you who are on the audio podcast.
Xbox Mini.
Sorry if
The
you're not
Hallmark.
there. I got this from Hallmark. It's the
The Xbox
2024
Mini.
Xbox keepsake that you hang on your Christmas tree.
Ah.
And it
And
makes a
yeah,
sound, right?
Oh.
it makes a sound. If you press the button on the front, it makes the boot up sound for the Xbox. Just letting you guys know that there is such a thing. And Microsoft
It's
has
just an ornament. I thought it was a mini. Would have
yeah.
been nice.
All right, continue, Jose.
Okay, so in this part of the documentary, they also say how a lot of the other departments for Microsoft were finding out like what these guys were doing and that it was gonna run like Windows basically. And there's this funny part where they said that the Office guys had messaged them and were like, "What do we have to do to get Windows, Microsoft Office running on this?"
Mm.
And the DirectX guys were like, "What? Like what? Like no one wants to do Office from their couch."
Mhm.
But honestly, like, would that have appealed to any of you guys?
Me personally, I mean, uh, technically speaking, you might want to in certain key use cases, like if you wanted to as a writer, I might want to because I like working side by side with watching my shows. Maybe not playing video games, but definitely, if I was working with an office document and I was watching a Netflix show on the side, it wouldn't be such a bad idea of having them both in one screen. I wouldn't say no to that. But yeah, during that time, it was pretty inconceivable, as is the most quotable movie in the universe has laid out. It's inconceivable back then. Now, maybe not. But yeah, Microsoft, the DirectX guys had a point on that one. They were building a game console, and
Aren't we doing that already with the Steam Deck?
pretty much, yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, we are doing that with the Steam Deck. We are actually well, a throwback to Jose's comment before, the Linux being my preferred OS of choice. The Steam Deck actually is running Linux, and it's running a compatibility layer to run its Steam games on it. And I'm hoping that it continues down that path because I want a consolidation of Windows and Linux to happen in the future. But yes, in this case, dock office into a console, possibly, maybe, but practically speaking, no. They were building a console that they wanted to directly compete with Sony, and Office would not have fit into that picture.
All right. So JDM, same question.
If they have developed apps for like software for Xbox. Mm. Well, I bought a Xbox not to do my work at home. I just need my Xbox just to play. Although I love I love the feature since the original Xbox anyway. You could do multitasking because I remember playing um, what game was that? Um, Dead or Alive, Beach Volley, and
Bro.
I was I was I was really amazed that um no, I didn't play it. I just watched one of my schoolmates play that game, and then in the background he pressed the home button, then he just played the like a soundtrack behind it, and it was playing. It wasn't it was playing right behind the beach volleyball game, and I was really amazed that it can do that, because back then you can only do multitasking using a PC, but with the Xbox you can do it on like an independent gaming console. So it's really great. But as for using it for other uses like video streaming or something like that, or even DVDs, it's okay. But I really prefer gaming consoles to be used as um, for gaming itself, so it won't distract me for my game on my games.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. Sir Ryan, same question.
Upfront, Microsoft Office running on Xbox, it will be a no, a hard no.
Oh hell no, no.
I bought my console to relax, not to work on it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
And at the same time, the way they designed the Xbox is like, if you want to use the Office, guess what? You have to develop a system that will handle the interface of keyboard and mouse. Remember, Xbox doesn't have a USB port. It doesn't. So, how do you plan to integrate the keyboard and mouse? That's one. Second, doing my work. If I were to do my work, then I would just use a regular PC. At least the value of the Microsoft Office and Microsoft Windows will not be affected. But to do it on Xbox is quite painful. And that time, it was designed as a prototype, as a testing stage. That's why you notice that on the storage wasn't introduced until the Xbox 360. So if you if in the future, yes, but only light. But technically, overall, I don't think it will work through. So it will be a hard no, a red X, and it's something that will pick me. If Microsoft, if they're going to introduce Microsoft Office to the console again, it will be a hard no for me.
The idea is nice. Maybe an option, sure. Like for example, if you have the Xbox there, and then there's a toggle switch where you can uh, do it on a like a toggle switch saying console mode and then office desk mode in a way, sure. But just an option. But given the technology of the time, hey, these guys are having trouble even without dealing office anyway. I mean, they don't even like they're racking their brains just to come up with a decent hardware. Heck, they don't even have the operating system for this thing yet. According to the documentary, uh, they're looking for the operating system, but the Windows guys are refusing to share the codes, the kernels. So they have to do Mission Impossible style, steal those codes, and then strip everything down, trim off the fat. So all of the total capacity of what a Windows source codes and kernel would go with, they were able to shave it off down to like 200 KB size uh, of total capacity just to fit in their working prototype. So uh, and and just to do that, you know what I mean? PC Windows, like they mentioned, it's an all-purpose tank. They want the Xbox to be a race car. They need it to be very functional and to run very fast. Nobody gamer out there would wait like 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds worth of loading time. Can you imagine if the PlayStation logo would take you like 30 seconds to boot up? First, Sony, yeah. And then you wait 30, 40 seconds more until it goes black so you can see the PS logo. And then you wait another 30, 40 seconds just for the publishers and the developers to show up. And mind you, this was the CD era. We were already dealing with a loading bar as is. Do we really need all of that on the boot up screen too? Like every time when we open up our PCs just for that to boot up, going to the BIOS, doing all of those checks, and then slowly loading up your desktop. That takes time, and I'm like, as a gamer, you don't want that. But then again, the novelty here is having all of those functions. Sure, I mean right now, like we mentioned, we already do that with the Steam Deck. Steam Deck's like hybrid kind of it's a handheld PC of sorts. Okay, there's an operating system in there. You can customize that thing. You can put a mouse in there. I believe there's a mouse tracking pad in there that you can use with your thumbs. Um, I'm guessing the Xbox ROG Ally will be the same. And the way I notice it, it's like, okay, the novelty here would be Xbox is integrating gaming and the office space. Pretty much what they're doing right now. Pretty much what they're wanting to do with the Xbox One, gaming and entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I noticed that with the Xbox people, they always want to integrate gaming with something else, just to be cutting edge, just to be a little bit different than the competition. They don't. Uh, the way I see them, they don't want to stick with gaming. They really want to capture a wider net to cater the general and the mainstream audiences, not just the hardcore gamers. But as we all know, if you alienate the hardcore gamers, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So Rose, back to you. Up, mute.
I think it's muting.
There we go. I think Office wouldn't have worked because if you're sitting as far away as someone usually does on a couch, then it would be really hard to see, especially with TVs back then. They weren't as big as they are now. But it was a funny thing that they wanted all these things to go onto it. Let's see. During that part, there was also that big meeting with Bill Gates where he was pissed. If you guys were in that meeting, what do you think you would do? You think you just sit there quietly? You think you would try to say something or persuade him that this is gonna work, or you think you would just sit there and let him ramble on like he was?
Well, originally the wording was, the Xbox is basically Windows powered. So everything the Windows is doing, we can do it on a console. That's what he was sold on to. But Sir Joel, what would you say?
Yeah.
What would you say to Bill in this case?
No, whoever it is who piped up and said, "What about Sony?" did it perfectly. In the end of it, Bill Gates was still very much invested in the idea of Microsoft being in every home. I think it was in one of his. It was in parts of Silicon Valley, and earlier docu series where he said something along the lines of, "I want Microsoft in every living room," or something like that. He wants Microsoft to be so ubiquitous that it is basically the home brand already. And that one, no matter how much bluster, no matter how much anger he was projecting during that meeting, in the end of it, whoever piped up and said, "What about Sony?" still brought home the fact that Sony was still aiming to be the home console and entertainment experience. And Bill Gates is never going to concede that. Bill Gates, Microsoft,
What was the lesser evil at the time? So
exactly,
yeah.
yes. You might lose $1 billion because of the fact that Microsoft has infinite money. Microsoft can say $1 billion hurts, but if I lose this space in the future, it's gonna hurt even more. And Bill Gates' machine mind thought, if it's kind of like chess, you can have your bishop captured if it helps you capture the queen of the opposing side. So yeah, he was willing to
What
put,
was that, Sir Joel? The Kobayashi Maru
yes, precisely.
conundrum.
Exactly.
Which way are you willing to lose? Either or.
Yes, precisely. How much are you willing to lose to ultimately win? Something like that.
To
Yeah.
ultimately win.
Yes. Hmm.
Sir JDM, same question. What would you say to Bill? The fuck is this? This
No,
ain't what I signed up for. This is not the thing that you promised me. You mother effers.
personally, I would have cropped my I would have cropped bricks because I'm not really a confrontational person. Whenever um,
The boss.
with a boss or like a teacher or someone higher up,
Superior officer. Let's go
yeah,
with that.
no, I would be like shocked maybe, but eventually I would be able to like compose myself and do a rebuttal because um like everyone have said, it's a win or lose situation. What could um at least you have your chance than like um not getting um I mean not doing anything. You just have to lose everything, but you didn't have the fighting chance. But at least uh the idea of someone who like who stood up and uh, mentioned about Sony, because they're really trying their best to um, integrate everything, uh, um, e- Microsoft to every corner of your house or in the offices. Yeah.
Sir Ryan, same question. What would you say to Bill in this regard?
Well, for me, I
How
would
would you defend? How-
actually, interestingly, Bill Gates and I would think the same thing. So on my end, I will say, okay, Bill, try to weigh this option. You notice that currently most of the console has a fast boot up time, right? The same thing we're trying to apply here. Yes, I know you want your off Microsoft Windows to be on the system, but try to think it over. Right now, where our biggest challenge that time is the time it takes to load Microsoft Office. I mean Microsoft Windows. So what is our best product? So are you willing to remind them that this is a PC, not a console, or do you want to be like that quick, just like with design, and they'll think this is Microsoft, but they are pushing it much better. So would you agree on that, Bill? We try to do something different compared to what we have with Microsoft, compared to what we have with Windows. Try to think about it. It's like being a technical, I will explain the benefits and disadvantage. By reducing Microsoft Windows in terms of in in, developing the Xbox, it's like we're giving our customers something to look forward to, not something to dread on, which is like what JDM says. Imagine the loading time. As a gamer, that will freak me out.
Right. In regarding with Bill, like Sir JDM, I'm not really that much of a confrontational kind of person. I'm more of the extremes really. Either I stay quiet or or I dial it up to 10 or 11 just to respond. Um, Sir Ryan is right. Try to talk to Bill in terms to in a language that he will understand. Like
Yes.
these are the technical pros and cons. If we have to do it his way, we tried it, but but the technology is still that limited at that time. Even if we tried to push that, it would take us a lot more. It would take us a lot more time to develop. It would take us a lot more time to test, and time is running out. They have to do because with Sony's announcement, they, as far as the documentary is concerned, they want to make sure that the Xbox is already out by the holidays of 2001, not to give Sony a huge lead, because if the PlayStation 2 came out first, then that means the PlayStation would have been the standard all across the board, all across the globe, leaving Xbox with nothing but to prove themselves that they can do it or not. So the plan was to expedite things as early as possible, making sure that they're gonna release the Xbox before Sony, so at least they'll be able to have a bite of the gaming market, or of the gaming market share. And what would be the alternative? Like these guys mentioned, Sony will remain on top, and the idea of the Xbox being not exactly what Bill wanted, the idea of Sony taking over the whole living room and the den and the office area is arguably equally as bad. So, like Sir Joel mentioned, which way are you willing to lose? So, Bill Gates and then Steve Ballmer, the incoming CEO of Microsoft around that time, they talked more about it, and they said, you know what, it's still our brand. Why not? Let's take a shot at it. Even if even if they fail at this, they can always come back. They can always make do with their Windows anyway. You know, yeah, sure. If Xbox is a flop, the company will thrive eventually. So you know what? Let's just go on with it. Let's just give the guys our support. And yeah, they pitched the futuristic vision of console gaming, making sure that there's a hard drive in there. There's and there's Ethernet at the
Mm,
time. We're still using dial-up
mm,
around this time period, guys. So the Ethernet technology is there, although not a lot of people have that much kind of internet connection, but they're thinking a little bit more global here. The idea of how about how about a an online multiplayer gaming environment when people can just game remotely rather than people coming over in the living room playing video games. So in that regard, with all of those technical specs and the futurist vision of the gaming being revolutionized by Xbox, Bill said yes eventually. Sir Jose, back to you.
And speaking of expediting the Xbox, I'm not sure if you were able to pick it up, but someone mentioned that it was only less than 5 minutes of a meeting. Right? It was all of those talks of the reactions, Bill Gates, like anger. Then all of a sudden they end the story. They end the story with just it. The meeting ended less than 5 minutes. So all of those happened.
You know what? I don't think that happened. I think that was just an over exaggeration.
Maybe.
I expect at least 15 minutes. I mean, Bill Gates cussing people. I think that would have at least taken him 10 minutes.
No, I think what the description was that he went on a rant, really. But when somebody brought up, but what about PlayStation? It resolved itself in 5 minutes. The moment that they said,
Now that I
okay,
would believe that. Yeah.
and Bill Gates looked at Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer looked at Bill Gates and said, "Let's do this." 5 minutes, and that was it. After they looked at each other, they went, "Let's do this. Five
Let's do
minutes.
this.
Let's go.
Ah,
$1 billion. Let's fund
Sure.
it."
so it's just the deliberation, not the
Yeah.
entire meeting.
Because, yeah, honestly, if
I
you guys
thought.
want a great documentary on how Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates work with each other, check out Pirates of Silicon Valley. That's my recommendation for documentary. It's not necessarily gaming related, but it showcases how the early days of computers began. So you guys might want to check that out. But yes, it showed how Steve Ballmer is the bombastic marketing guy, and Bill Gates is the genius tech guy, very much paralleling Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. So, but then again, in this case, it was on Microsoft's side, and it's fascinating history. You guys should check it out. Endorsed by Timeless Gamer Show.
Bill Gates was the brain and Steve Ballmer was the mouthpiece. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sir Jose.
All right. For me, I think if I was in that meeting and I was in the mindset of that time, I think that I would be like JDM and I'd just be like shitting bricks in the corner, just like, oh my god, like I'd be like that kid in school where they're like gonna call on you and you'd be like, no, don't call on me, like I'm not back here, I'm just waiting, looking at the clock, waiting for the class to be over. But if that was me now, I'd probably be dragged out of there because I'd be like, all right, first of all, calm down, bitch. Don't fucking come all like that at me right now. But I know they call it the Valentine's Day Massacre. Did this really happen on Valentine's Day?
I believe so. Yes.
Well, I guess none of them went home and had sex because they already got fucked at work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was absolute. It was a complete orgy of anger. I'd say. But yeah,
It was a sausage fest
yeah.
because there's a lot of men inside.
Yeah, honestly, I think it might have. I think it was part. It was mentioned in the documentary that their dinners went cold. The wives that were looking forward to time with their husbands really just it didn't happen because of how long the conflict dragged. And yeah, it was aptly named the Valentine's Day Massacre.
Imagine that you get bitched at work and you get home and then you get bitched at some more.
Yeah.
Why were you late? Why were you angry?
I'm like, sorry, Bill was fucking me in the ass all day.
Oh my
And then we all got along after 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then we cuddled. No,
that's
made everything
how
good.
dudes are. Anyway, so yeah, to continue, Jose, what's
Yeah,
the?
yeah. After Bill ruled my ass 5 minutes, I got paid.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
All right.
There you
During
go.
this part of
Seriously,
the
go.
during this part of the documentary, they were also trying to name this thing.
Oh yeah,
They're trying to
that's
come
true.
up with different names. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to.
Ah,
There was a lot of names that they threw out that were said.
actually, I thought that too. Like, yeah, I mean, I was thinking, what would be the best name for this thing?
But they were
But go
crazy.
ahead.
There were a lot of silly names that got
Yeah.
tossed out. There
Yes.
was
Do you think any of the ones that they mentioned could have worked, or even can you come up with one yourself?
Hmm.
no, honestly, the ones that got tossed out, they were horrendous. Whoever did the focus groups on those they didn't earn their pay,
They
and
were trolling. They
yeah,
were trolling at
they
best.
were. I think so. I completely agree with John. They took the money and they trolled Microsoft for that one. But yeah, I'd say no. None of the ones that got suggested were any good. It would have gone the way of the I don't know the shall we say the I don't know. For lack of a better example, the Magnavox Odyssey. It's a nice word. It's a nice little brand. But yeah, it didn't really have all that much of an impact. Xbox, short, succinct, straight to the point. It was a prototype name. Everybody knew it by what it was. I think they landed a winner on that one. hmm
I mean,
if I
they've been advertising it the whole time as an Xbox. Why not
Yeah,
just
and
go
if
on
I had
ahead
to
with it?
think of a different one, if a gun pressed to my head and I had to think of one, I'd have come up with something silly like I don't know, the Mindscape or something like that, or the Dreams to Real machine or something like that. But yeah, Ryan, you had your hand raised up. You were about to say something.
Yes, because overall, upfront, Xbox is perfect because upfront they were developing DirectX, so they think of something that will introduce their console. So Direct Xbox. Why not go Xbox? Because here's a little trivia. Guess guess why they call their API or a while ago application programming interface Xbox. I mean DirectX. Take a guess why.
Because X is a variable. You
Yes.
can, yeah. There you go. You can
Could be
make
anything. An
on it.
X could be anything.
Yes.
Yes. And just like JTM also mentioned, like Direct 3D, which is the one that's proudly used right now,
Mhm.
and Direct Draw. Yes, that reminds me.
Yes.
This
Command
game,
and conquer.
this one use Direct Draw,
Mm-hmm.
Direct Draw,
mm.
and Direct Sound a lot. In fact, it's not shown. Uh, if someone were to cut this box, it would not show Direct X. But if you play the game or try to play the game, it will tell you it's using DirectX 6.1. So I did a little digging on this one during the past week. Direct sound because it has to play the sound directly from the CDs from the CD to the Windows. Direct draw because you have to render the character itself, and there's still a lot more. And here's another fact: everybody know Gabe Newell, right?
Steam.
Gabe Newell. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. The founder of Steam.
Valve.
Valve. Yeah. There you go. Valve.
Guess what is known in DirectX? Guess what is known in his contribution to DirectX?
What?
Does anyone know the game Doom?
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't?
Would you believe that the first project of DirectX was to port Doom from MS-DOS to DirectX? And Gabe
Oh.
Mm.
and Gabe Newell is the one who head the port
Port.
of Microsoft DOS to DirectX.
Nice.
And here's the
Okay.
best part:
Mm.
if someone were to do that, and would you think you would get money, or would you do it for free?
Oh, you definitely want to do it for money because, well, that's a big project, and it's going to be the one of the defining moments of the transition from DOS into Windows.
And take a guess what Gabe, Gabe Newell did.
He did it for free because he wanted to do something fun.
Yes, and guess what? Guess what ID Software reply was?
No,
Here's $1.
no,
What?
We'll pay you.
no. Here's the money.
Actually,
Go.
guess what?
Shut up,
like-
take my money.
It's like, okay, Gabe Newell, since you do this for free, we'll give this to you on a silver platter. We will bow down, and whatever your wish, it shall be done. It's, it's like it's like it's like a knight just gave you the sword. Whatever
Okay.
happens, you lead the way. We'll make it
Wow.
happen.
Okay.
And
That's
it's thanks to
interesting.
that. It's thanks to that we that Doom has the DirectX version. And
Mm.
since then, it has been the API or application protocol interface of choice for succeeding Doom games. So
Okay.
Doom 3, do you remember Doom 3, right?
Yes.
That's what's running on DirectX 9.
Mm. Okay.
So it's almost the same platform as Psychonauts.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mm.
I'll tell you more once we go to the Xbox 360 days. So
Okay.
I'll give it back to you guys.
All right. Jose.
See, I'm not good at coming up with names for things, so I just wonder, like, if they had stayed with Direct Xbox, would it have hit as good as just Xbox? Oh, JDM, you weren't really here for at the beginning of this.
I guess it would have been better if they named it originally, like what they originally did, the Direct Xbox, because as a gamer, since they're building a gaming console, so most especially their target market are the gamers, and most of those gamers already know what DirectX is. So um, the reason why they should have stick to that is um, to it's a branding. If you say DirectX, it's all about gaming. So it would entice gamers to buy the console instead of a PC, because um, there are gamers that who would just like to play, and they don't care if they don't have it doesn't have the office applications in it, because they already have their PCs and computers. So DirectX would have been a better name than just the Xbox, because Xbox is like what it, it sounds edgy. I like that. So
All
that's
right.
my opinion.
All right, so moving on to chapter 3, titled "And It Didn't Turn On." They were making games. What's it gonna look like at the end? This console. So making the case, and the Xbox shown off with The Rock. Weirdly enough, and I think we talked about the controller a little bit. But what do you guys think about the final design of the original Xbox and the controller?
All right. The final design of the Xbox, bulk. I guess the one word the adjective that I used to describe the original Xbox, it was bulky. It was chonk. It was huge. It was it was everything that the Sony PlayStation 2 was not. It was big, it was heavy, it had presence. I guess that's the right word for it. When you walked into a room and you saw it, you knew that that guy played Xbox. And the controller itself also. You did say that you mentioned the Duke controller. It's big. It's supposed to ergonomically fit into your hand like so, so that you like you're holding on to a some kind of bowling ball or something like that. Yeah, it's nice, but honestly, as Filipinos and as Asians overall, we have small hands, you know,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard for us to grip something as large as that. It's iconic, nice. It feels good on the hand, but eventually,
That's what
you're
she said.
as somebody who holds on who holds on to such a large thing, it kind of wears on the grip. So I guess that's also possibly the reason why Microsoft redesigned it a little bit, a couple of years down the line, if I remember correctly, Jose, into a smaller,
Yes.
more agile, shall we say, design. So yeah, the original design of the Microsoft Xbox, iconic. I like it. I love how it looks. I love how it has the presence. But honestly, to when you stop and think about it, it's kind of like it was designed to be completely the polar opposite of what Sony was supposed to look like. So I like the innovations that they tried to integrate into it, but I think it kind of put ergonomics on a back seat. So that's my take on it. Back to you, Jose.
Sir JDM, what did you think about the final design of the console and the controller?
It was flashy when I first saw it because of the big X on it, and also I mentioned the Do controller earlier, and I guess they they came down with the design is because to contain all of the components, and as we know, gaming consoles heat up very quickly, so what I guess they did is they made sure that it had a lot of room to breathe, to draw air in, so it could cool efficiently and eliminate all those negative air outside of the console, because it houses the a very powerful CPU and most especially the GPU. So they needed as much space for it to breathe, and it also had the DVD ROM and the hard disk in it. So additional moving parts equals more friction and heat. So I guess for it being chunky or big is a huge help for the ventilation of um, the console.
How about Sir Ryan? Same question.
Interestingly, I would include Sega in this one. I will say it big ego. Come on,
Big.
uh, come on, take a look. The Xbox is a large console, but its board is only as big as this game box. So it's like 70% of the total console, is just only the board itself. So maybe it's also to, yes, in a way, to dissipate the heat. And the one that actually gave Sega the face palm, like super face palm, was the controller. You notice that there's a big X there, right? In the controller, the two controller.
Mm.
Guess what was the original intention of that large logo?
Little display to show status.
Yep. And guess where they
Or
got that from?
moving.
Oh, the VMU.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. that time it was supposed to house the VMU, but unfortunately, Sega Sega wasn't in. Of course, this was post Sega already. This like post Sega. So if they try to do that, it'll be like Sega will be breathing on their neck already. So what they did, instead of the VMU, they put the large green X on it, aka their large ego. So that's my take on it. Yes, it does work, but if I were given a chance to modify it, I would make it much smaller and the controller more friendly. So that's why when they brought the Xbox over to Japan, their biggest concern is we have small hand, so we need help in helping the controller. For us, the Japanese, to have a grip on the controller is too large. Like you Americans, big ego. That's mommy.
I'll be a little bit more. I'll be a little bit more blatant with this. Um, the OG Xbox that I have, I got the revision controller now, and it reminded me of. I mean, it's not as big as the Dreamcast controller, but in terms of grip, I would say it kind of reminds me of when you put the Switch Joy Cons to the handle grip.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like that, almost. And I have seen the Duke controller during our retro gaming markets here, and I'm glad that they did revise the Duke controller. The Duke controller, guys, it might have been the console itself. It was big. It was big and chunky unnecessarily. All right, and standing right next to the thing, uh, I felt insecure. I don't know. I mean, who is this for? So yeah, Sir Ryan is right. If anything, Americans and their big penises, sure. I mean, someone's projecting clearly.
Mhm. Well, I mean, if I recall correctly, though, Hyperkin came out with a at 20th anniversary. Was it 20th or 30th anniversary of it? I think 20th. And the little X at the front does play the startup animation.
Yeah.
It's sad to say it doesn't do much else, but it's a cool little function nevertheless, where you boot
Mhm.
up the Xbox and you show the X kind of forming. That's kind of cool. I liked it.
Like the cherry on top.
It was a little cherry on top, yeah. And it's selling on Amazon right now for $64. So I
Wow.
I think I have one already. So yeah, if anybody's interested.
All right, Sir, say back to you.
Like I said earlier, the controller, the Duke, it was really. I liked it. It was comfortable. It was big.
Ooh, thick.
Yeah.
It has a nice girth. It's,
Mhm.
it's fat. It's thick. It's long.
Oh my
The cord, I mean.
And the console itself, it it looked like just any other piece of electronic equipment that you would buy. So it kind of just sat there like with everything else, and it looked like it was a part of it. The smaller controller, the S, I think I believe they called it was comfortable too. It's basically like what the controllers now evolved into, like a version of it. It was weird at first because the Duke had the same buttons, but they also had a white and a black button. And
Oh
then
yeah,
when they redid the controller, they moved them
to the shoulders.
to the shoulders. So like that's when we got these bumpers, and that was weird at first because, especially like when you're playing fighting games, you were used to the button being over here, and now it's over here. But Now it doesn't even matter because it's all it's just all second nature now using controllers.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is there. Okay, this is an interesting question. So when they showed off the Xbox, The Rock came out. You know,
Thank you, man.
one of the most famous people at the time. That he was huge in WWE at the moment. I don't know if he had done any of his movies at that point.
Not yet, I think. Back in 2001.
2001?
No.
But
No.
when did Scorpion King come out?
Oh, I don't know.
2022.
No.
No.
Uh,
I think he's still working full time in pro
yeah,
wrestling.
this was the height of the
Okay.
Attitude Era, so
Yeah,
I
okay.
doubt he
Yeah.
would be out just for Xbox.
Okay, so do you think that there would have been any other celebrity out there that they could have brought out that would have been just as hype as The Rock?
Back in 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Scorpion King came out of 2002. So this would have been the time when The Rock was, I mean, filming wise, I would have
Oh,
believed
yeah.
he's out of WWF at the time when filming Scorpion King. Yes, I did say F.
Yeah.
Well, he came out in the Mummy 3 first, didn't he? As or one of
Mummy,
the-
Mummy 3
Basta
first, and then,
CGI.
the Scorpion King, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Back in 2001, what was the big thing back then? Boy bands. Let's see, basketball stars and
We got Jordan. Sure.
rappers, if I remember correctly, during that time. That was those were the big faces back then. I would say for gamer, I don't know. Yeah, Michael Jordan would have if he had been an endorser of the Microsoft Xbox, he would have been worthy. Yeah. Mhm.
If there was an NBA game for Xbox,
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
I guess.
Yeah. hmm
But you know what? 2001, this was the height of the Attitude Era. So I kind of buy it. I mean, the North American TV landscape was different during this stage. It could have gone with Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock anyway. Either that, go to the WCW side, Sir JDM, who would have been best to do that? Flair?
You-
Woo!
No, you already have the X. Now you
Yes.
need the
Oh,
the
yeah,
D
right.
generation, right?
Degeneration
And the
X,
colors, the neon green.
right?
But I don't think
What you? Oh no, because Sean is still injured around this time. He came back
Yeah.
2002, so I would say yeah. Just have I don't know. Oh no, 2001. Yeah, I guess DX.
and
Yeah.
but I don't
Oh no,
know.
no, 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 because Sean got injured 1999, and then he came back 2002. So he wouldn't. So he wouldn't have done it with Hunter anyway.
Yeah. And I don't think Triple H would be a better choice because I don't think he
He's
does
not that there.
yeah,
He's not there yet. No, no, no.
yeah,
During that time, no.
he does comedy, but only when
When
he's
Sean's
using
there,
John Michael.
yeah.
And I don't see X-Pac also doing that because it's just mid card. So it would have
Upper
been
mid is best.
yeah,
No.
it would have been DX if Shawn
Um,
Michaels was in there.
no, no. I mean, at the time, Sting doesn't talk. Sting doesn't talk at the
Yeah,
time.
he was doing the crows thing.
A Crows Sting. Hogan. He doesn't. Would you even buy a console endorsed by Hogan?
He wouldn't have endorsed it because the console's black.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, Macho Man, sure. But could you imagine the promo like, "Ooh, this Xbox, scream of the crowd, oh yeah."
3 minutes of playtime.
Anyway, like, I mean, who else? Like, Britney Spears? No.
Imagine.
Imagine that, right? Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Now it would have to. It
Maybe,
would have been, yeah. Again, it would have been somebody that gamers really would have identified with. Michael Jordan
right?
would have been the best one. But barring him, Tony Hawk. I don't know.
Oh
Hawk
yeah,
would be nice. Yeah,
yeah.
Tony Hawk would
One of
be
his
okay.
games was one of the launch titles.
Yeah, Tony Hawk
Yeah.
or Michael Jordan. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have had to have been someone sports related.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Bo, from
Jackson?
Bo Jackson. Yeah, maybe. But during that time, possibly not.
Football. Yeah.
Yeah.
OJ?
I mean, who's the biggest name on football 2001?
Back in 2001, football would have been. Can't even think. I still think Madden. Whenever I think football, it's still Madden. But yeah,
Live 2001. Okay.
yeah, well, yeah, it would have been something sports related, and honestly, it would have worked too because Microsoft really started with a strong stable of sports titles from the get go, from my recollection. But yeah,
Maybe. Well, how about Sir Ryan? I don't think he was able to
yeah, right. And if you had
suggest.
if Dwayne Johnson hadn't been the presenter or the face of Microsoft Xbox during its launch, who would you have recommended as an alternate to have presented that embodied the personality of what Microsoft Xbox is all about? Which celebrity?
That will be a tough one
Yeah.
because
2001.
if you need something new, something that has the charisma, especially we're talking about DirectX DirectX people presenting the console, it has to be something like bold, something new, like they haven't seen it before.
Yeah. Hmm.
So if
I'm-
so, overall, Dwayne the Rock Johnson would be
Hmm.
the person up front.
Hmm. You'd still stick with Dwayne Johnson then. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's reasonable. Yeah.
Scorpion King.
The Scorpion King. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Bottom line, guys, it doesn't matter what we think.
Fine. Okay. The tagline. Okay.
Bill Gates didn't bother. He might get a rock bottom or something
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Would have
in
been
that
a nice
stage.
figure. Doing a people's elbow and Bill Gates.
I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Right.
Injury,
Anyway.
But yeah,
injuries.
it would have had to have been The Rock.
Yes.
They also showed off some of their games. They showed off Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey, Project Gotham Racing, Amped, Azuric, NFL Fever 2002, and Halo at their GameStop event. Put yourself in that time. Would these games have been enough to get you hyped for that?
No.
People? I knew you were going to say that.
No.
I honestly, from the point of view of a pure gamer, yeah, sure, it would have because of the fact that it's something different. Sure, Sony PlayStation was at the forefront and they were producing massive IPs. We're talking like large characters, Jack and Daxter and things like that. Or back in the PlayStation, Time Splitters. Time Splitters was big in the shoot 'em up era. But yeah, something new. As a gamer, I'm always looking out for something new, something different, something that will give me a unique experience. And Microsoft coming out with a different stable of games, it would have gotten me. It would have gotten me excited. The Halo, of course, it was a phenomenon, and I really wish that I'd gotten into the Forza series back then, but I just didn't have the knowledge to really get into it during that time. But yeah, any kind of new game, as long as it comes out and it looks like it's interesting and has interesting gameplay and attractive presentation, I'd give it a try. And Microsoft during that time really presented and showed, and it looks like the American audience really took to it during that time back in 2002, 2001, 2002. Yeah. Mhm.
Sir Joel is one of those people who did not like, or at least did not bought into the hype of Halo
Honest,
Command Evolve.
yeah, honestly, Halo, I mean, it was nice in the beginning, but it got a little bit, what's the right word for it? Drudging, or the pacing suffered throughout the game somehow. So it's kind of like it was a really nice tech demo, but I don't think the guys who made it, Bungie, really had a good grasp of what dramatics was during the time yet. They refined their formula going forward. Halo 2, Halo 3 really hit it out of the park, but Halo Combat Evolved had a little bit of trouble on a storytelling part. And as a writer, as a storyteller, as a guy who really is in it for narrative, it kind of really didn't do it for me. Sad to say.
Sir JDM, launch titles would have been enough for you to get the console.
Maybe the Project Gotham Racing, because I love my racing games. Um, it's just sad that I didn't really have enough knowledge of the Xbox during that time, and the very first game that I played on the Xbox was Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, and it really did great on that game because they didn't release Metal Gear Solid 2 on the Xbox because it was an exclusive, but they did wonders in the Splinter Cell game because it utilized um, the lighting, the uh, um, object lighting, because Splinter Cell is a stealth game, so the the goal of the game is to stay hidden by hiding behind the shadows, and Xbox really showcased the features of the light rendering on their games, and it was well implemented. Thus, it got the tagline stealth redefined.
All right, thank you for
But
that, Sir JDM. How about Sir Ryan? Same question. Launch titles would have been enough for ya.
For me, it to be like none, because at that
No.
time I'm happy with the PlayStation. Uh, because unless there's a way for Xbox to get some franchise from Squaresoft,
Squaresoft.
uh, yeah, which is now Square Enix, or they can get something like Silent Hill 2, but that time
Mm.
it will be a challenge. There's nothing. Xbox. I love the idea, but the concept, but it's still too early that time. And of course, unless unless there is something that interests me, like for example, Double Fine Studio, Iron Brigade, and State of Decay series. If I were to know that during the Xbox days, I would have got it. But they released it on the Xbox 360, and of course, Double Fine's Psychonaut. Those are the three games that might interest me in going to Xbox, but overall, it's between Xbox and the PC. I'm a PC type of person, so it has, I have to be convinced if someone want to bring me over to Xbox.
Right. Um, let's see. The North American launch, November 2001 for the Xbox OG. 4x4 Evo 2, Air Force Delta Storm, Arctic Thunder, Cell Damage, Dark Summit, Dead or Alive 3. Okay. Fusion Frenzy, Halo Combat Evolved, Mad Dash Racing, Madden NFL 2002, NASCAR Heat 2002, NASCAR Thunder 2002. Those games would have been for Sir Joel. NHL Hits 2002, Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, Project Gotham Racing, that's for Sir JDM. Shrek, that's for Sir Siebert. Test Drive, Off Road Wide Open, that's for Sir Joel again. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X, that would have been for Sir Jose right there. And Trans World Surf, Trans World, and that would have been for Sir Viraj. Nothing for me. Nothing. Dead or Alive, sure, but it's just this and that. Next, what else? So it would have been a hard no for me. If Bungie also released Myth, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
Myth was a
Yeah,
great
because during that time, before they got acquired by Microsoft, they already did Myth and Myth 1 and Myth 2 as PC games. If they ported those into the OG Xbox, yeah, I might have. I might have turned my head. Sure.
Mhm. All right. So I think this is a nice little place where we can put a pin on the discussion, and we've reached the 2 hour mark, and it might be a good idea for us to do a part 2 of this conversation, because the upcoming portion of the documentary, the 360 era onwards, is where it really starts to get exciting. What do you say, Jose?
And frustrating.
And frustrating, yes.
It might, heaven forbid, if it's really like a interesting discussion, might have a part 3 or part 4.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Ryan. So yeah, Jose, back to you. Oh, I think your mic is still off. Go ahead.
There we go. Just to go over the launch titles really quick. The ones that really excited me: Dead or Alive 3,
Of
Halo,
course.
Tony Hawk 2X, and the one that surprised me, Fusion Frenzy, was actually really fun. Basically, their version of Mario Party. But yeah, just like this docu-series that we watched, we cannot contain it all in one episode. There's
Agreed.
just too much, and like Sir Ryan said too, these next 3 parts are so big that we might have to put
do
it into another part 3.
Yeah.
There's just so much to go over, and like Sir Joel said, it's going to get exciting. Like Sir JDM said, it's going to get frustrating.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover still.
All right, so I guess it's best to kind of wrap it up. Joe, we have some messages for our audience coming from our partners in Streamyard and BitMap Books, right?
All right, so we'll hear from Streamyard and Bitmap Books, and then we will end the show with our
Initial thoughts.
plugs. Here they are.
Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated, exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using Streamyard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history.
All right, thank you for that, StreamYard and BitMap Books. We will now proceed with our shameless plugs. Let's start with Sir JDM. Where can they touch your grass?
So, one day Marcus here. 123 Go Retro on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And check out our website, timelessgamers.show. We have blogs now and podcasts if you would like to check the podcast by our website. Just go ahead and type in the URL on your browser.
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM. Sir Joel, where can they touch your grass?
All right. Well, you can always find me here on the Timeless Gamer Show, unless life gets in the way. You know, it's crazy. You know how life sometimes has different plans for you, aside from you're really wanting to be here in Timeless Gamer Show, connecting with our panel and our audience. You can also check out my streaming pages over in Kick, on Twitch, and on Rumble. Yeah, you can hashtag FUFB as always. And you'll find me streaming a variety of games from retro to modern games. Currently, I'm working through Sniper Elite version 2, where you can shoot people and watch their skulls explode in X-ray version. And the modern game that I'm playing right now is Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which is a fantastic racing game. You guys should check it out. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And of course, Sir Ryan, where can they touch your grass?
Okay. Interestingly, pretty much I'm a private person, so they can use my name. I'm usually in Facebook, and of course, Timeless Gamer Show. This is where I actually keep an eye on. So if it's anything like technical or something that need explanation, rest assured I'll be there to pitch in. And of course, sometimes if life hit us hard reality, because that's why we play games to escape the reality of life. Same thing also for me. So sometime I'll be on this channel to provide feedback, and of course, if I'm trying to juggle between 2 or 3 jobs, so I'll see what I can do. But rest assured, if something interesting, something technical, I'll definitely be there. So no worry, guys. Thank
And
you.
we appreciate Sir Ryan for his input. And of course, the show director for tonight, Sir Jose, where can they where can they touch your Californian grass?
You guys can find me anywhere. Social media, Dark Gothic Fate. All gaming platforms, it is the same thing. You can find me on my console of choice, the new home for JRPGs, the Xbox.
Yeah.
And I hope to be writing some blogs for the Timeless Gamers website soon. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alright.
It's an open invite actually, right? Joe, anybody who might want to have an interesting piece that they want to showcase on the Timeless Gamer Show blog, if you're interested in pitching in an article, personal
Even Sir
experience.
Ryan can pitch in a blog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Anybody. Our
Just let
audience
us know.
might
Just write a
want.
blog. Yeah, and then send it to Sir
And
JDM.
Yeah,
and
just
where do they send? Where do
Yeah.
they send that?
just send us a message here in Facebook or in our channels, and we'll get back to you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about your experiences as well. That's the nice thing about us gamers. We do cherish each other's experiences. We do value each other's points of view, and yeah, we just want to have fun, like girls. Anyway,
yeah.
The phone
Yeah,
rings.
true. True.
All right, thank you for that, everybody. And of course, if you guys want to read some gaming history in full color, check out BitMap Books. Go to our video description down there for the link. And of course, for all of you guys planning to do your own live streams, webinars, online meetings, check out Streamyard. Check out our video description for the link as well. And for all of your anime related stuff, trinkets, and goodies, shuffleemporium.com or go to their Facebook page, Shuffle Emporium. And of course, timelessgamers.com, guys. We got our archives there, and also introducing our blog space. So right now we got Sir Dan trashing Nintendo Switch 2, and then my piece trashing Sega in in retaliation, and then of course Miss I posting her first impressions about the new Indiana Jones game, First Light. All right, and of course, and like you mentioned, the blog space is open for everyone who wants to post a blog in regarding with anything gaming related. Just send those to Sir JDM. Just send a private message to Sir JDM or any one of us anyway. Or just use our email, God damn it. timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. That's it, guys. Thank you all so much. That's it for the show. The next episode will be June 28th. We will have the people from One Up Games. Will be our guest
Nice.
for the show. So we will put this episode, the part 2 of this Xbox documentary review, some other date, maybe afterwards. After we are done with One Up Quest. Okay, I think we need to address the second, the sequel of this review as early as possible. But we've already booked up One Up Quest, so obligations, guys, obligations. We have to honor our word. Alrighty, thank you all so much for being here, and again, our timeless appreciation, of course, to Richard Ryan Ortega for joining us. And that's it, guys. As always, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Do the thing.
timeless. All right.
There you go.
Guys. Make sure you eat well, drink lots of water. See you guys next week. Bye.
Xbox for the win.
Yeah, the new Homo JRPGs.
Yeah.
And the one that started
No.
Green
all.
team. Green team.
Yeah.